The Javits Center, Steph, where you're standing, has some pretty impressive sustainable efforts. We're loving the garden on the rooftop there.
Oh, I know, and it's delicious, too. I wish I could bring some of this food home from you. Not only do we have a sustainable garden, we also have a 6.75-acre green roof. What is that exactly? Well, let's talk to the CEO of the Javits Center, Alan Steele. You've been some part of the Javits since the 80s, so you know the ins and outs of this place. The garden here, how did this come about? Because you guys have a whole nother space of 6.75 acres that's a green roof. How did you go from the green roof to the garden?
Well, one really bore the other, because once we had the green roof and we knew we had an expansion to build, we had the opportunity to build something that instead of having a very shallow ceiling for soil, we could actually put a depth in here of 18 to 24 inches. So once we knew that, we thought we could put trees in, so we planted an orchard, and then we could plant vegetables. And so we have a 1 acre of vegetable producing farm right in the middle of Manhattan.
How did the Javits Center become one of the biggest green roofs in the world?
Well, I think the original credit goes to Bruce Fowle and his wife Marcy. Marcy was the one who came up with the idea for bird-friendly glass, and Bruce Fowle was the architect who designed the building. So from them, the ideas for the rest of our sustainability program just followed. Once we started doing sustainable things, people started asking us, what's next? And every time we did something else, they said, so what's next? So we keep following that cycle, and I don't know what's next after the solar, maybe wind.
So let's talk a little bit more about those glass panels, because we do have a solar farm. We're going to talk about that as well a little bit later here on the show. But you were saying, what's next? Well, you were saying you're going to try to get solar glass panels?
There's some talk about the availability of those glass panels now. I don't think we're ready to refit the building, but I think we're ready to experiment with it and see whether it's possible to put some of those things out here and see what generates, what capacity they generate.
Speaking of experimenting, you said you want this to be a place for people to experiment with sustainable features?
Yes. And we're a government entity. We're a New York State entity. The governor is very keen to see us continue to push the envelope here. So we're looking for people who want to do things that are pushing the edge of sustainable practices in cities. Anyone who wants to do something, give us a call.
I like that. How about the wind? You say that you might try to look into it, but you don't know if the wind is strong enough, even on the river?
We've done some testing for the wind, and the winds are generally light. Even though they're coming from the west and across the river, they tend to pick up speed. They may not be enough for us to generate power. But we're looking at the vertical winds as opposed to the other ones, which are much more dangerous for birds. So we're looking at a number of different things, and we'll continue to, as I said, experiment with what's available.
And it's not only the roof, it's what's underneath the roof that you guys think it seems like you're most proud of, getting the trucks off the street, the 200 trucks.
Yeah, I think that's the hidden secret here. This is visually the great sight, but underneath here we can take all the trucks off the street, which for the community is a huge benefit. And down there we're ready to start moving to electric trucks too. We have an ability to start charging trucks who are coming in from long distances who need to charge electrically and leave again without going back to a gas station.
Have you noticed the air quality getting better?
We haven't done any tests this year. We've decided to wait for a year. We did tests before we started, so we know how bad it was. Now I'm hoping we'll find out how good it is when we do our next set of tests.
All right, I love it. Alan Steele, CEO of Javits Center. We certainly appreciate that. And so it's not just what you can see, it's happening all around. And remember, Molly, this building takes up 6 city blocks, so there's still plenty of room to expand on here.